Hello, we are Abracadabra Sisters. Abracadabra, as I speak, I create. And we are interviewing creative people every week so that you can see how they work creativity into their lives. I'm Sharon.
I'm Muriel, and we're here today with my dear friend Laura, a woman who has probably a gazillion hats on. Most women have a lot of hats on, but Laura, I don't know how you do it. She's producing and directing films, working with a real job as well, and raised a beautiful family, two great kids, very creative. Some of that creativity is right behind her, and so Laura, we've done a couple of films together, and it's always been
You.
such a pleasure.
Thanks for having
And
me.
and thank you for being here with us. So let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
Were you running around with a little camera when you were like five, directing people, or when did it start?
Well, I wasn't running around with a camera at 5. I actually, though, when I was a small child, I grew up in a neighborhood on Long Island where we had like a neighborhood gang with like all these kids, and we every night we'd all play together, and they were all like 4 or 5 years older than me. They were my brother's age. And they would create these kind of make-believe things, and I was like the victim, like they like because I was little and I was going along with things. But I remember being like, I know this is pretend, but it's fun. So
Yeah.
that was sort of maybe the beginning. And then often when I would have kids over or go to friends' houses when I was little, I would be putting on a show. There would be some sort of rehearsal and whatever. And I thought that that was kind of what everyone was doing. It was only later in life where I realized from feedback from some of those people as adults where they're like, yeah, you were always making us put on a show or something. So I guess that's
Yeah.
where it started. Yeah. And the theater, I was exposed to a lot of theater as a kid. My parents, my mom was an opera singer, my dad was an attorney, and they both loved theater. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we were involved in theater when we were teenagers when we first arrived here, and it really get it. There's something about it that is more li alive than life.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's
it gets into your blood. It's like
yeah,
something you
Yeah.
you you don't you can walk away from it, but it's always still calling you a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
So where you
Yeah.
said in Long Island, where in Long Island?
Yeah. I grew up in Huntington, near Huntington,
Oh,
Long
so
Island.
did
Yeah.
we.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Muriel and I very early on were like, wait a second, we
yeah.
got a common too. So, yep.
Yep, and we went to we were involved in community theater in
Mhm.
Huntington, the Huntington Township Theater Group,
Oh, wow. Okay.
HTTG.
I don't think I
HTTP.
ever did
Yeah,
that, but
yeah,
yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There was a group in Huntington. There was a group in Northport. So I got involved with
Yeah,
all of them.
there's a nice amount of like community and art. I mean, I live here again. Like I moved back here in 2012, and there's a fair amount of art, and we have Cinema Arts Center here, and lots of really. There's a lot of creative artists here. When I first moved
Yeah,
out from the city, I was completely concerned that I would never
yeah.
create again, and I'm okay.
But you're not only producing and directing and writing. We are in the same writers group, so
Yes,
that's a great thing. That's how we met.
highly
Um,
productive writers group.
yeah, and you're also acting as well. So
Yeah, I was gonna say when we were talking about theater, I remember when I was a kid going to the theater and I had this insatiable urge to be on the stage. Like the whole time I was sitting there, I was like, I want to get up there. And I know I'm not allowed to do that. But yeah, I am an actor. I mean, I would say in the last year or so, I haven't done as much acting. I've definitely been more in the director seat. But yeah, I love acting. And when things arise for me to do, it's really exciting. And working with actors is sort of a different way of being an actor. So yeah, but
Yeah.
and like
But
the
I
respect for
imagine
yeah.
being an actor, it gives you a look at the other side of what it's like to be an actor working with a director. So you probably have a certain amount of sensitivity towards their needs and what they need from you in order to be able to do their job better.
Yeah, for sure. Like I as soon, most actors can kind of sense that I'm one of them. So there's like a innate trust and sometimes I think it is like a skill to be able to notice like what's going on with that actor, what do they need, or if they're just like off the charts doing something amazing and they should just be left be.
To do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that film across together.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun for me because it was period. So that was really
That was
fun. And
amazing.
we were
Yes.
spending, and it was during COVID. Can you believe it? Remember
Yeah,
that?
it was sort of like
Like the very tail end of COVID, I
and
think.
right, like we were
Yeah.
supposed to shoot it, we were fundraising for that. We began fundraising in March of 2020.
Oh, of all
Supposed to
times.
shoot it that summer, and it was
Yeah.
like, are we going to go for it? And it was like, it's too risky, and there's no protocols yet, so it got pushed a year. But
Yeah.
yeah, most people that was their first time back on set after COVID, so there was this
Yeah.
wild energy of like, we're just so happy to be here and see
Right.
people and
Yeah.
make a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The threat that we had to avoid there was poison ivy, you know.
That's right. That's right. I know everyone was very shocked. I was like, well, in the script it says the woods,
Yeah. Yeah.
We, you
Yeah. So
know.
we shot it, Sharon, near where you lived in Port Washington, right? It was
Oh yeah,
the
where?
Wellwyn. It's where they
well
there's like a Holocaust Remembrance Museum and then the grounds are called Wellwyn. I think it's Glen Cove
in
area.
Glen Cove. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Glen
Yeah.
Cove.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the only place I could think of that's woodsy in the Port Washington on the Port Washington Peninsula is up by Sands Point. But Glen Cove is, yeah,
It's
it's
right there. It's right
one
near
Yeah.
there.
peninsula
Yeah.
east
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, we had a very old looking road there, which was great. That went kind of went through the park, which we needed it for the old car because it was set in the 40s, right after the
Yes.
war. And then we had a beach that we could drive out to and
Yeah.
go in the sound
And
there.
then we had the woods.
We had the
Yeah,
woods,
it
yeah.
was production wise very challenging that film. I
But
I mean, I
there
think
was a great location
the
because
location
everything
was
was there.
amazing. I think
Everything
that
was there.
yeah,
Yeah,
when
And,
yeah.
we
and what
planned
is the
it,
name? What is the name of this film and where can people see it?
that film is called Across. I mean, it's not streaming anywhere or anything. I mean, we did a full festival run with it. It's about war widows after World War II in 1949.
So the key creative moment for a project like that is what how did you where did the idea come from and how did it and then how did you
Yeah.
develop it?
Well, I was interested in the story of that's the cats running by of
Mhm.
the women in America after World War II because there's several projects about, the soldiers coming home or the war brides. But, in the United States, there were all these women who like kind of took charge of our entire economy and saved our country here while the war was going on. So I was always interested in that. However, the story for how that script got written is very uninteresting, unfortunately. But I was working with a cinematographer on some other projects years ago who wanted me to write something to film for his reel that would be women in a car driving over a bridge. That was like the assignment. And for whatever reason, I wrote this. And I mean, I ended up not working with that cinematographer on this. It was like years later this got produced, but it just kind of came out of me, this script. And it almost got produced a couple other times. Muriel, you probably remember we were going to do it a couple years before, and then it got pushed, and then so it really felt like when we did ultimately produce it, it was like really time to do it. So yeah,
Yeah. And the thing is too that I don't know how many people are aware of it, but it is a massive effort to get even a small film made.
yeah,
It's like it's like hiring an army. You have to get
yeah,
basically an army together to make a project happen.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot.
yeah, so I applaud you for that because,
Thank you.
not only do you come up with a great creative idea, but then you have the faith in it to push it to
Or I
that
borrow someone else's like more often than not.
so that you
You
can
know,
like
yeah.
get it to the next step.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot. And I think short films are really challenging. They're almost as challenging as features because the prep is the same. You know, you have to build this whole team, and then it's all over the production part in 3 days,
yeah,
which is a
yeah.
little easier. But
And then you
yeah,
have weeks of editing and
yeah,
sound
depending on
and
the project. So,
yeah,
and you're always, trying to make the best film you can with the resources you have, which are
yeah,
always in flux. On that one, like our lead actress, the first morning had been injured on her way to set. And that was like a whole thing that, she was hurt and she was such a trooper about it. But it's like that's a major, you're losing maybe an hour on helping
yeah,
someone back. But yeah, that
yeah.
that shoot was a killer,
It
honestly.
was
Like
quite intense. Yeah,
I like slept for 3 days straight after that.
I
I'm not
bet
kidding.
you did. Yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, because the location, we had it in our head that that was one location, but it was huge. I mean, that place must be, I don't know, a couple hundred acres or something
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
So it
Well,
really,
it
yeah,
was there were there was the pickup outside the house, there was the
yeah,
beach,
yeah.
and there was in the woods. So, yeah, these different
They were
locations,
like
but
three totally
all
different places.
but thank God they were all right there in that
Oh,
same
it was
park,
great. It was great, but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
grueling, and we had because of the COVID rules, you can only have a certain number of people
Yeah.
on your crew and everything. So
And
yeah.
the nurse was always checking us, so making sure
Yeah,
that everybody
I
was
actually
doing
just
what
saw
they
her
should
the
have
other
done.
night. My friend
Really?
who's a nurse,
Yeah.
she loved that. She had the COVID tests, and also
Yeah.
because we had some water dunking, she was on set for that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like every difficult production element. We had an antique car, we had a global pandemic.
And an actress who had never driven a car like that before, right?
So Chrissy, the one Pearl Shannon who drove the car most of the time, actually had a lot of driving experience,
Oh,
like
okay.
NASCAR. But
Really?
Chrissy was actually a newly licensed driver, which we did not advertise, we were shooting film, but she had just gotten her license.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't a regular style car, it was like a 40s car, which are
Right.
pretty
Stick shift.
challenging to drive. So
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, it was a beautiful car,
Yeah, it
and
was. Really.
that was a
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it was really like a movie, because we had this
Yeah.
red car.
Now you got me all like I
I'll
want to
send it to
see
you.
this. I want. Well, maybe
Maybe
you should put it up somewhere that people
Yeah, I
can you
should.
put
can
it on
see
your
it.
website
I
just for a
could. I
Yeah.
while so that
could.
if
Yeah,
people are
that's a good
watching
idea.
this, they can then click into the Vimeo and go watch it
Yeah, I
from
will
your
totally
website.
do that actually. By the
Yeah.
time this airs, I'll put it on my website. Deal.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you got to start your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what happens with films is like then you get another one that takes over your life, and I
Right.
don't mean to abandon it,
Right.
but the future pulls you to the next project.
Right.
Well, if
Yeah.
you're anything like me, it's like the passion is getting the job done,
Yeah.
and then I'll finish things, and then they just kind of sit there because my head's already into the next thing. And
Yeah. I
sometimes
mean,
if
that
something
one
is,
we did share it about, I mean, it did like a 2 year festival run, and every now
Yeah.
and then people reach out to me to screen it at things. So I haven't like released it widespread because it always felt like, oh, one more person would ask for like a public screening. But I think it's probably time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're really good at following through on these things and going to all the festivals and getting it all out there. And your
Yeah.
recent success is quite an amazing story.
Yeah, so this is my first documentary. It's actually called Tiny Movements.
Tiny
And thank
movements.
you for the compliment. Yeah, so I wasn't planning to make a documentary, but the story kind of found me and I followed it in, not knowing, where it would take me. And yeah, we've had, a pretty profound reception of the film. Yeah, it's like, film festivals and sharing the film. some of it is like being on the red carpet and schmoozing and all this kind of thing, but it really is a big part of the creative process with filmmaking is, you're making the film to share it with audiences. So I think it was Agnes Varda who said it's like there's three parts of making a film. There's the planning, there's the making, and then there's the sharing.
Yeah.
And when you're sharing the film, people bring all kinds of things to your doorstep to talk about with your film that you never saw coming. And it's sort of like a different phase with the project. And certainly with this documentary, because it's a survivor focused story of somebody who extricated themselves from like terrible domestic violence and sexual abuse. And so there's a built-in audience and discussion points with survivors. So it's been a really unique and amazing experience to be sharing this one. And,
Can we
you know,
tell just a
yeah.
little bit about what the content of the film is or how it started?
Yeah, sure. So this is my so I have a f friend who from when I lived in Brooklyn when my daughter was a baby, who's now 21. That's her artwork. So my friend Jen Green, so she had left Brooklyn. We were in touch over social media, and she started dancing in her kitchen because she's a modern dancer, and she would film it and put it on Instagram, and she called it Tiny Kitchen Dances, which is out there ongoing. And she kept doing this. And I was like, what is this? This is so intriguing. And she would say these kind of cryptic things about something had happened. And if you want to know, call me. And I'm in New Hampshire now. And it was all like, I was like, what is this? Like, what is going on with her? And it went on for years. She did this every day for 3 years. She filmed herself in her kitchen dancing and shared it with a message. And so eventually I did reach out to her and I was like, Jen, what's going on? Like, what happened? And she was like, "Well, do you really want to know like the whole story?" And I was like, "I guess I do. I'm calling you." And she told me, and like, trigger warning is very upsetting. So if anybody's like sensitive about sexual violence and that kind of thing, like maybe pause and get a coffee and come back. But so long story short, she had found videos of her husband of 12 years, who she met in high school, and they had a seemingly good marriage, two kids. She found video footage that he had been drugging her with high doses of Ambien and for 4 years and raping her and filming it. And she stumbled upon like a hard drive on the computer and found all this. And this was years ago, but several different steps to try to deal with things. And then at some point, she was like, I'm gonna get killed if I stay here. So she, left with her kids, got to a safe space, and then eventually, actually, she had started this dance project very early on. So I reached out to her, after we talked more, and I was like, this would be a really interesting documentary. And
An important documentary,
yeah,
really.
and
Yes.
yeah, and I was really captivated by like her urgency to share with others and to help other people who were maybe isolated and her desire to be visible with what had happened. I think it made her feel safe, like she's safe, like in public, people knowing what happened. And she had all this footage, like it was like over 900 clips of her dancing in her kitchen. And she's a good dancer. I always say to people, I'm like, nobody wants to see me dancing in my kitchen. She does this kind of like artsy, cool dancing thing, several different kitchens. So it was really unique and interesting. So in 2022, I was like, she was finishing. She was like, I'm not going to keep doing this at the end of this year. So if you're going to do something, you got to get on with it. So I was like, all right. And she had moved to North Carolina. So I brought somebody, a cinematographer, Joseph Overbay. I asked if he could come and help me. And we went to her house and just filmed interviews. We filmed her filming herself, and then we filmed her in the dance studio. And then a couple years later, her abuser was sentenced in Brooklyn. So we came and we did a day shooting there. And then we
Oh.
finished the film, I guess, last June and premiered at the Art of Brooklyn Film Festival. And since then, we actually won Outstanding Short Documentary at that. And We won an award at Fargo. We got a standing ovation in Fargo, North Dakota. I feel like
Great.
that
Wow.
should be like a t-shirt. My one friend was like, Midwesterners don't mess around. That's meaningful. I was like, yeah, Fargo got on their feet for us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But yeah, we've had an amazing thing and we're starting to do outreach screenings. We just did our first outreach screening in partnership with an organization called Women Against Abuse in Philadelphia. And they organized this whole event. There were other survivors there. There was like a panel. It was incredible. So
Great.
yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty interesting what this film is doing. It definitely has a life of its own. Jen's Instagram, she's gone viral. She's got like 2 million views
Wow.
and obviously like the survivor voice, this when this case with Giselle Pellicotte came out in France, we
Yes.
had already shot our movie like a year before, and I was like, whoa, I think this is something that's happening more than people realize.
Yeah, it's timely for this all to be exposed and ending.
I just don't understand what gets into a man's head. I mean, he's married her.
Yeah,
She's his wife.
yeah,
Why does he have to abuse her? And if he wants somebody to abuse, well, I don't want to get into that because
yeah. I mean,
I had my own abusive relationship, so I understand that, nobody is faulting her. She had no idea what was going on with her, but
right.
it's crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
crazy, and it's unfortunately more common than people realize. All the people that reach out to us and are like, "This is my story. This is my story," and we're like,
Yeah.
"Hmm."
Yeah.
And there was a
Yeah.
big,
And when
yeah.
you do this stuff that people reach out to you, when I wrote poetry about some of my
Mm,
um abusive relationships, people reached out to me and said,
yeah.
"Oh my God, you made me you made in fact my daughter's boyfriend at the time had it pulled
Mm,
up for him some child experiences that were
hmm.
traumatizing. And he was able to talk to me about it. And I was able to help him, encourage him to talk to his parents and
Yeah.
resolve some issues that were lingering from his childhood because of it. So
Yes.
it's when you can pull when you pull this stuff out into the light of day and examine
I
it
agree.
and make it no longer a taboo topic so that people can talk about it and
Yeah.
address those issues, it's you're doing a service.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Like shining a light on it. People are really afraid to talk about this topic in general. It's like they think they're going to catch chicken pox or something
Mm,
if they talk about it. And sort of the opposite is true. Like it really thrives, these kinds of things in isolation with people not wanting to talk about it. Like that really thrives in that
Well,
kind of isolation.
maybe the reason people have such difficulty talking about it is because it's triggering a memory of their own
Sure.
past. If it's
Yeah.
as common as we think it is,
Yeah.
then there's a lot of people. Because I know that with
That's the fact.
me, my situation, I had a rape from when I was a teenager, and I balled it up in the back of my head. I didn't think
Mm.
about it. I didn't address it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the song that was playing at the time it happened became
Wow.
popular again that
Ooh, wow.
I started having dizzy spells, and I was forced to address the
Yeah.
problem. So
Yeah. And
sometimes,
yeah,
people they don't may not even know why they're not
right.
wanting to discuss it,
But
why
at the end
it's
of the
so
day,
triggering.
it's like so important. I mean, one of my goals with this film, here's the cat.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah, I see.
something. See something like a bug
there's
maybe
a
on the
bird up
window.
there or
Oh, there's a
something.
bird.
We'll see
Yeah.
where this goes if it's not too distracting. But one of my goals with the film is like, survivors are, people who were living, come on now. Who are living their lives and it gets
Yeah.
interrupted by this thing. And then there's all this focus on the abuser. Are they going to jail? Are they not? How's their life going to be impacted? It's like survivors need a lot of help to get back on their feet, but it is a worthwhile thing. And if the cat's back,
That's
if you
okay.
all participate in that, it is really powerful. One of the things that was really powerful in Jen's story is her community of friends and family came to the sentencing. My cat's like totally just gonna steal. Is this too distracting for your show? I could move her in
No,
No,
the
it's
kitchen.
fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's
no,
fine.
Scary.
you might end up with a cat's behind in your face before the evening is done because
There's
Muriel's
this.
cat.
I have a
Okay, I'm
black
like,
cat
there's a
though.
second cat. This is just one of them, and she's
Yeah,
Yeah.
really,
she's
she's
got two as well.
she's stretched out on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay. I'm also a witch. Yes, I have two black cats.
Yes.
But yeah, when we went to the sentencing, we thought maybe a few friends would be there, but Jen had invited like for like 45 people came to the sentencing and came into the courtroom with her
Wow.
and wanted to be interviewed and held her and just the power of that and how it had impacted all these people in her community was really profound. And it's just like what I love about Jen's story. I mean, Jen's a great person and like we're really good friends. And probably my next film will be a buddy comedy about a director and a documentary subject driving
Yeah.
cross country. But she is excited to live her life and move forward. She has a lot to live for and a lot of, joy and creative impulse. And she's an artist. So it's like, seeing her use her art was there for her at a dire
Yeah.
moment and has ultimately helped her survive. So,
That's great. That's
yeah.
just great. That is just great. See, you know,
And
the
they wonder why women choose the bear. No,
choose what
see, I must
Oh,
be like moving in different circles because it's all over the internet. Women are choosing if they had to walk in the woods, would they
oh, yeah,
rather
yeah,
a
yeah.
man come up
Yeah.
behind them or a
oh,
bear?
there.
And women
Interesting.
will say a bear.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of complex systems at work, that we end up talking about. And sometimes we're on panels with people who are legal experts or psychologists. And there's a lot of pressure also, it's not like, oh, men are bad. That's not the takeaway. It's more, what are the systems that created this situation? Not to let the guy off the
Right.
hook at all, like 100%. However, there's just as much confusion on the other side of this of like, how does someone get so lost that they are doing these things? Or what help is there for men who don't know how to express what they need? It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
well,
It's
just to get a little topical, which we
yeah.
try to avoid,
Yeah.
but Eric Swalwell, I am so disappointed in him.
Yeah, me
Mm.
too.
You know,
Me too.
what the F is what I say. It's absolutely insane.
You know,
This,
I want to say innocent until proven guilty, but unfortunately, um, even if this is all crap, and even if he's being treated the same way as Alf Franken did,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
we can't afford
Yeah.
to have someone compromised running for office anywhere in the country. We
Yeah.
can't afford it.
right, right.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't
with
take
this,
the
yeah,
risk.
it's it's so common and not that we should give up because it's so common, but I think that, we're in a lot of rooms talking about these things all the time because of this film.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like one of our goals is just kind of shift the narrative and like instead of talking about the terrible person who did the thing, and there's lots of them. I mean, the statistic is like 1 out of 7 people have been raped. It's like and we're all like, oh, it's so awful,
yeah,
myself included. But it's like, okay, so how can I step in? How can I actually step in and help a survivor? Like, let's
yeah,
talk about, not like talk about P. Diddy. Let's talk about the woman whose life was ruined. What's
Right.
being
yeah,
done for her? How can we as a
Well,
culture
I think we're still
move in?
struggling to get the culture to look
Mm,
at it that way. We're
yeah,
struggling very hard
yeah,
to because the courts are still looking at, oh, we can't destroy this man's life.
yeah,
Meanwhile, he's destroyed someone else's life.
yeah,
And
exactly. Yep. But yeah, one of the things I walked through in making this film, my cat is just like everywhere right now. Go away, Cherry. Is, I was afraid. This we all started making this film, he had not been sentenced. He was at large.
yeah,
And I was like, Jen has a she has a
That's
cat. It's like
okay.
my cat's like, it's
Cats,
actually all about me, and I'm gonna
cat.
knock everything
Let,
over in your room
let,
now.
let me just say, you said I'm a witch. I have two black cats. Cats have amazing energy.
Yes.
They're like little healers. They've got this cosmic consciousness they're bringing to the fore. So
Hear
he
that, Cherry?
the cat is doing its job.
For
So
sure. But
yeah,
yeah, I was afraid though to make this film. And I was like, I
yeah,
have kids, I don't want this guy showing up at my house, blah, blah, blah.
right.
And I almost walked away. Like I
Well,
really
did he
tried to.
know? Did he know that you were
Oh, he
making?
knows.
How
He
did he know
knows.
that you were making the film?
He knows all about it. I mean, he saw us at the sentencing with the camera. I
Yeah,
mean,
but before that, what when you were,
no, I asked Jen to keep it on the low,
yeah, to like not
quiet,
let it
blah, blah,
out.
blah.
Right.
But the other thing that happened with me was I remember one night I was talking to someone and I was like, is the world a safer place if I walk away from this, or is that just a fantasy? And it's like, yeah, like if every person was willing to like go make a like step in and make actually like a film about it or talk about this head on or really help survivors, like it would get harder and harder for people to get away with this, but
Yeah. Well, the other part of the puzzle that maybe there's a companion film to this, I don't know, but is
funny that you say that.
the guy, what drove him there?
Right.
What
I
in
mean,
his life drove him there? What
there are a
drives
lot of
men
films
to
about
these?
that. Yeah. I mean, that is most true crime gets into that kind of thing. And usually there is a reason and there is something to have compassion for, but it's still not okay.
I'm not
So,
talking about necessarily having compassion about it, but I'm talking about
yeah.
healing as a culture, as a society,
Mm,
by learning what creates inside a
right.
person that impetus, what drives them to make that happen in their lives. We all have a choice to make something happen in our lives, and
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about here, using our
Yeah.
words and our impetus and our artistry to create.
Sure.
Why do people create pain for others and something like this? It's
Yeah. I mean, it's horrible. So, I mean, there's no other word for it. But it's like from Jen's perspective, like the desire to kind of take back her own story. This is her life. This is her story.
yeah,
She doesn't have to protect
definitely.
him. And
No, not at
so,
all. But
but yeah,
was he abused? Or, is it a fact that abusers abuse or something like that?
I
Well, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think a lot of true crime things delve into why is this person so evil? And we're all
yeah,
super interested in that. And I don't know. Like, I'm like, can I curse here? I'm like, fuck this
yes,
guy.
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
how I feel.
right,
Like, what about
yeah,
her? What about the fact that she has two
yeah,
kids and no money and had to
yeah.
like leave town and like has the NYPD and an $80,000 court case? Like, it's really hard for people to pick up their lives after these
After
things.
There,
this, yeah,
there's a woman on TikTok
Okay.
who was leaving an abusive marriage, and it was not physically abusive. He was controlling of money, controlling of everything. She couldn't
Financial
have a
abuse.
bank account. She couldn't open a bank account. He managed her time. He managed what she spent.
Yeah.
And what she did was every day she did a video about like she released them a year later about like what she did, the steps she took towards freeing herself. Things
Mm,
like how she managed to surreptitiously open a bank account, how
yeah.
she managed to pack a go bag and hide it,
Right.
in
It,
case she had a run because it was touch and
it's
go for her.
dangerous. I mean, most
Exactly. So
people, it
every
takes
single
them like 7 attempts to successfully leave.
Right, right.
um,
And she did. She had more than one attempt. And in the middle of it, I think her parents, her father gets sick and she
Mm.
has to go visit her family. And he's like
Hmm.
allowing her only so much time to visit her family. Then she's got to come home and take care of him.
Yep.
And she's trying to deal with this whole thing and she's explaining it, and it's fascinating actually because she
Mhm.
she gives you tips. She's like, you
Yeah,
know like when she went to open up
that's
the
yeah,
bank,
I think
she
it's
picked a bank
right,
that she thought was totally online, and she did not realize they were going to send her papers in the mail. And
right,
it just so happened that was the day that he said, I don't want to get the mail, why don't you? And he waited for her to go and pick the mail up. So she's
right.
stuffing it in her clothes, getting back in the car so that like he doesn't see that she's got this like something from a bank, because she does,
Yeah,
and
and
she
it's
what
dangerous.
she was like using only the money she got a raise and didn't tell him, and only the money that was the raise did she put into that account, so that the
Mhm.
money that went into their family into their joint account stayed the same, so he
Mhm.
didn't ask questions. I mean, stupid little things like that, like she
Yeah,
had
but
to
it's life or
work
death.
out
I
every
mean,
little
yeah,
detail on how to free herself.
right. And there's
Yeah.
thousands of people watching that who are probably in the same situation, right?
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
but yeah. But anyhow, yeah, that's the film right now.
So
Well,
The
I'm going
next
to
oh,
one
ask the
is a
same
comp.
question.
Yeah.
Where can people see this film?
So this film is like currently, in doing the film festival circuit. So next up in May, we don't have the exact screening date, but we're going to be in Portland, Maine in May, at a film festival. And then after that, likely in Midtown Manhattan at the People's Forum. We're still securing the date, but that will be the end of May.
and I'm sure I'm going to hear about that. So if
You
I can get
are,
there, I will.
yes.
Okay, good.
And that will be screened with another dance film about tango, which is kind of cool. And then in June, we're screening in Asheville, North Carolina. We have like kind of an event. It's 2 days of screenings, and then the third day is a movement and cinema workshop where Jen is going to do some movement with people, and I'm going to help them like decide how to self-record their own dance.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's what's next, and then more festivals and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Is
Is
there
there,
like a website where all of
Yeah,
these
sorry, go
absolutely.
dates
Yeah, you
show up,
can,
so we could maybe we could
sure.
direct people to it?
Yeah, it's tinymovementsfilm.com is the website, and the Instagram is at tinymovementsfilm. And we
Awesome.
also have a newsletter, so if you go on the website, you can sign up for the newsletter. And we don't send too many, but we do keep people up to date on upcoming screenings and events. Yeah.
all right, good, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's in the hopper now?
Well, I just locked picture on a short film I co-directed by a writer-producer named Emma Welsh and her daughter, who I co-directed it with, June Welsh. That's called The Box. It's a really beautiful, again, shot on Long Island at the beach, but not in the
Yeah,
1940s, but
yeah.
also about grief. It's a really beautiful short film. So we just locked picture on that. It's out to the composer. And then we just completed another project you were on, Muriel, the lesson plan by
Yeah,
Jody Levitan. That's
just finished that.
done.
Okay,
Yep.
great, great.
And then in the hopper, I'm in talks to direct a feature documentary, another survivor story that I can't say too much about. It's too early. But and then I have three features of my own. One is probably like a hybrid narrative doc, and then two other feature narrative films. And then I'm gonna move to Italy.
You are not.
No, I
What?
mean once I do three feature films, I'm just moving to Italy. That's my life goal.
I
Three
love it. I love
features,
it.
and then I'm done.
I love it. I love it. Well, then you'll want to make an Italian film.
No,
So,
I think then I want to sleep.
yeah.
Oh no, no, you I don't see that. Now, wait, I'm reeling my brain back to the beginning of this whole session here. And Muriel said something about you having a job on top
I
of all of
do have
this.
another job. It's true. So
And
yeah,
how the
yeah.
hell do you manage all of that?
I have no idea. No, I mean it's a day at a time. I would say.
Is it like
Um,
a 40 hours a week job?
well, I work in real estate. I work for Compass Real Estate in Huntington, and so sometimes it's really busy with real estate. Sometimes it's really busy with film. Sometimes one feeds the other. A lot of my real estate other agents have supported my projects quite a bit, which is amazing.
It's
So
very handy for getting like filming locations.
yeah, it can be. It can be. I sort of know a lot of people, around who have houses and stuff. So, Yeah, it works out okay. It's actually very similar, real estate to filmmaking in a lot of ways. You kind of have to build a team and have a vision for the space, and there's photographs involved and writing. So it's a very similar skill set. And people are often going through a lot, they're, moving because they're having a baby or somebody who's died or some major life thing. So it's a transferable skill. But I'm a maniac. I think it's probably the
You
truth.
are. You're always doing something. You're in a
Yeah.
play, directing a film, writing something.
Mhm.
And I think when we first met, you were just doing Mommy Mafia, or maybe it was
Mommy
shortly after
Mafia.
that.
Yeah, yeah, I
There's
love that project.
such a fun TV show idea
Yeah.
of very aggressive moms.
Yeah, it's like the Park Slope Mafia.
Mafia,
Yeah, that
mafia.
was a phase for me. That was when my kids were toddlers. I guess I
Yeah,
was processing the Park Slope high
processing that.
pressure playground situation.
Right,
Turf
right.
war.
Where to park the buggy?
Yeah. I mean, although we had real it was like real mafia thing, that show.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
so that was fun. That was really my first big project. I didn't direct that. I hired a director, but I
yeah.
was the lead actor in it and I wrote it and I produced it and it was enormous. I mean, it was like a 3-day shoot. It was 38 pages, the script.
Wow,
Like
for 3 days?
crazy.
Wow,
It was
that's a
crazy. And we
lot.
had like
Yeah.
4 actors under the age of 5. You know,
And then what were you doing? You were throwing buggies into the baby buggies into
the
the
Gowanus
Gowanus
Canal.
Canal.
Yeah.
It's got to be illegal.
We didn't actually. I was
You
sound
were
effects.
pretending.
So smoke and mirrors, movie making.
Yes. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is climb in there to get them out again.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would eviscerate.
Right. That was a fun project.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, I mean I guess now like what's challenging now is that I have so much going, directing takes over everything, so it's very difficult to find time to like sit down and write.
yeah,
And there really are a few projects I'd really like to see to fruition that are my own writing. But I spend a lot of time talking to people, which I like talking to people, So to be a writer, you have to kind of skirt away and be by yourself.
right. Yeah,
So not having
yeah,
a lot of that lately. But
yeah. Well, so it's directing that's coming up, and Italy.
always Italy.
I think for me it would
Yes.
be France.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I understand that.
yeah. So do you speak Italian?
A little bit. I actually speak French. I've spent a considerable
Oh,
amount of time in France. Like when I was
yeah.
growing up, I was an exchange student and stuff, but I'm of Italian descent, and my grandfather was always upset that I learned French and not Italian.
Really?
But
Yeah.
I went on that, screenwriting retreat in Italy, and then and I'm writing this project about my great grandmother that I don't know, brought me into Italy. So now whenever I can go to Italy, it's a yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it sounds like Italy is not going to be a retirement from making movies. It's going to
I
be more
think so.
movies, but in Italy.
No, I think it's going to be 3 feature films, which will probably take the next 10 years of my life. And then I'll be 61 and I'll be like, basta, ciao. And I'm just going to hang out in Italy and be like, I made 3 movies. I'm happy. So,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
I like that. Abracadabra, as we say, I create as I speak. So you just spoke,
Hmm.
and there it is.
Yeah, because directing films, like this isn't a complaint. I love it, but it is physically grueling,
Yeah.
and I think one of the things about like women directors not really getting large opportunities until you're like in your 40s is, it's limited. Like my body after, 5 days of shooting, I'm toast, man. Like I'm not too proud to say that. I wish, the energy I had in my 20s, I wish I was given the opportunities that have taken me an extra 15 years to get. So
Yeah.
3 features, Italy.
Yeah.
Should be
It's
on
a
my t-shirt.
it's a great plan.
Thank
It
you.
really is. Yeah. Well, do you have any wisdom on the idea of creativity for our viewers that you could share? Anything that like something that keeps you going in the moments when you're like ready to give it up or gets you or something that like says, what is it that says, damn, that's the idea. That's a good idea, as opposed to the one I thought of yesterday, that kind of
Mm.
thing. So what do you think? You have some wisdom to share?
Yeah, I mean, if two things come to mind off you saying that, and I guess the first one is, I guess I try to adhere to my own vision and not chase success or trends that people, I feel like earlier on I had opportunities where I was like, okay, this is what they want, so let's pitch them a bunch of things like this, and I would spend as much time on that kind of thing as I would on something that was very true and real to me that I cared about. And choosing the path of the thing that I care about and I'm interested in. I have a lot of energy for those projects and focus. That wasn't the thing I was going to say. The thing I was going to say is you can get burnt out, doing all these things. Especially, indie filmmaking is exhausting and you can really, really burn out. I spend a lot of time, and I don't know if this is wisdom for someone else, but this is where I've landed. And this is funny because it is, I joke about the Italy thing, but it's true. Anytime I have off, I try to have time to myself and go somewhere in nature and just be quiet and like just look at things and just, listen inside a bit. For me, that's the I find my creative partner in nature. So I think anyone, because it can be like, oh, how do you get an agent? How do you do all these things? Blah, blah, blah. Like it's just like draining. I feel like that kind of thing. For me, it's been important to find things that really replenish me. And sometimes I need to replenish really fast because I'll have a whole bunch of meetings and blah, blah, blah. And then like in 2 days I have to travel and it's like I have 3 hours.
Yeah,
Like I'm going to the woods. Maybe
great.
I am a
Yeah,
witch. Um,
yeah,
yeah, that would be the wisdom. And then I guess the other thing is with the thing about projects, this is the idea or something. I have this philosophy, which is like a fancy word for what I think, that, projects come with their own life force. Muriel, you'll totally vibe on this.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
some projects come
Yeah,
along and it's like there's people who want to get involved and people jump in. There's all this energy. And then other
yeah,
ones come like really slow and quiet and won't leave you alone. And um, I I really believe in that. With Tiny Movements, it was like I almost tried to get out of it making this documentary. And to that end, I took out like three documentarians who are far more experienced than me with the purpose of asking them to talk me out of doing it. That
yeah,
was my goal. And
yeah,
all
yeah.
th all three of them were like, this is really interesting. I think you need to pursue this. So
Oh, great.
I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe just like sit with something, let it
yeah,
let it speak to you about what it wants to be.
yeah, yeah. I have a new thought that's very new for me because, being an independent um, person in the entertainment business, you're always like hustling, try to get a job, trying to get this job done, get on to the next job, So, and it's the same in the indie project, it's just trying to keep going and keep things happening. And of
Mhm.
course, I have my writing project and the Empress project. And I'm just now thinking, my thing is now to just trust my universe.
Mm.
I just have to say, this universe has my back. My universe
Yeah.
has my back. What if it's meant to happen? My universe will bring forth those things that I need to make it happen. It will bring the people that need to be there. It will,
Yeah.
I can just let it, imagine I'm just lying in the swimming pool supported by the water that is my
Yeah.
universe and that's going to bring it all into the fore. Not that there isn't work involved. There
Right.
is work involved,
Yeah.
but there's a certain
I
amount
think
of
sometimes
trust.
when you hit obstacles when you're trying to get something done,
Mhm.
if you look back on it,
Mhm.
sometimes the obstacle was necessary for you to move you in a slightly different direction or to
Mhm.
stall you so that you could think through the process better.
Yeah.
I very rarely have I hit an obstacle on something and gone, damn, my life would be better if that obstacle didn't happen. Usually I look at it and go, wow, it's a good thing that that happened because if I had
Mhm.
gone ahead the way I was going, I might have gone down a whole different path and I wouldn't be where I
Right.
am today.
Right.
Yeah.
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 When you guys are talking about that, made me think too, like as a director, definitely it's feeling like as things develop, the most important thing is, like the people I choose to work with and getting more and more discerning about, uh, who, because yeah, you end up working with these people on several different projects, and those relationships are like become people you spend almost every day talking to. Um, yeah, like it's a real gift to meet people and then also to take care of them. Like sometimes when people bring me onto a project, I bring people on, and like sometimes on one project that I won't mention here, I didn't look out for my people that I brought on as much as I wished I had in the initial meetings. And then like people weren't treated well, like the people I care about who I brought on, and I was just like, you know what? Like I will never work with those people again because no, like life is too short, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like the team building thing is very real with directing. It's like that's where the magic is. And also, it's like I don't know, Muriel, like I had a very, very close friend, Teresa Bowles, who was my
Yeah.
producing partner. And when we were making Across, she was supposed to be there, but she got very, very sick and then passed away soon after.
Yeah.
And I learned a really important lesson on that project, which was, I was so fixated on making my movie that I didn't realize that like the bigger gift was making the movie with the person who was right next to me. Like
Yeah.
I love that movie, but if I had to choose between that movie and having my friend with me, 100% I would have my friend
Yeah.
with me. So it's
Yeah.
like that was a real maturation point for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can't look back and think you did something wrong because
No.
whatever
No.
we can't get off our path. Our path is our path,
Yeah, and you can't learn
Yeah.
what you're going to learn until you learn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on that project, when you were talking about having faith in myself, I'm like the worst at having faith in myself. I think that's why I do so much. I'm like trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
But on that project, Teresa had been like the faith person, and then she,
Yeah.
she couldn't come, she couldn't
Yeah.
come. And so I had to find it. And like I did, and it was rough. It was very rough personally for me, but
Yeah. Of
but I
course.
don't know how else I could have learned that.
Yeah.
So
That was her gift to you.
yeah, and she's there, on every project when I'm just like, what
Yeah.
am I
Yeah.
doing? I can kind of hear her be
She's
like,
still there. She's there. Yeah.
yeah, Mommy Mafia. She's like, let me just ask you one question. Because I was about to like walk away. The whole thing was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
She was like, are you going to be able to live with yourself if you don't make this? And I
Hmm.
was like, man,
Good
you
question.
got me. All right,
Yep.
fine. I'll write
Yeah.
another check.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
You could have had another house,
I
but
know.
instead you got a bunch of movies.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, movies are cool though because they're here to stay. Who
Yeah.
knows where they'll end up, but they kind of make their way around. So
Yeah. Well,
even once I'm in
congratulations.
Italy, they'll keep.
They'll keep going. Yeah. Well, congratulations. So I know you have another meeting. It's
Do
like
have a
almost 8, so
yes.
I guess we can wrap it up here.
All
So,
right.
thank you so
Yeah, thanks
much.
for
Thank
having
you.
me. It was nice
It
to
was
see you
great
guys.
meeting you,
Yes.
Laura.
You too, Sharon.
So, anyway, thank
All
you
right, thanks for
everybody for
having
Thank
me.
you.
watching,
All
and
right, I'll
thanks for
see you
coming.
soon. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
All right, good luck with
Bye.
everything. Bye.